Hello. Hi, everybody. What y'all saying? I see y'all in the chat. Y'all lighting the chat up. Y'all ready? Energy's up. Let me know if y'all hear me. Y'all like that music too, right? Gina, Zanny, I see y'all. I see y'all. Let me know if you hear me. Patina, my girl. Happy belated birthday again to my friend and sister Patina. Guys, I am so excited to be here. Y'all ain't know, trust me. Y'all just don't know. You can hear me. Awesome. Thank you so much for that. So, hey guys, this is me again, Arkia Higgs, a dream coach, ready to go. I am just I am happy. I am sincerely, truly happy because I can see what God is doing amongst us. I can see what obedience brings when we submit our will to His will. I am seeing what happens, and I have great expectation for what is to come on this platform. Yes, yes, yes. Patina, yes, girl. You know, I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. All right, guys. So we are here again for another Tipsy Tuesday. If you don't know who I am, Arkia Higgs, wife, mother, physiotherapist, dream coach, whatever you want to call me, Arkia, Kia, Higgs, whatever you want to call me, I am that. Okay. So what I need you to do for me now is to share this live stream because we want to be a blessing to somebody today. I see my lady, Miss Lisa Sands in the chat. Love, 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 love. Oh God, I'm so happy to have you here. So I am really excited. Like really excited, guys. So yes, please share this live because today we are talking about something that was birthed from last week's conversation. And if you did not hear last week's conversation, please go back and watch that. Okay, because it was such a blessing. It was such a blessing to the point that I had persons coming to me through from that Tuesday. People were coming to me and telling me how much that live meant to them with my friend and sister, Miss Jody Ann Spence, JP Spence. Like, she lit the room up. She almost caused me to cry on last week. So if you did not hear that live, please go on back and watch that and share that live. But from that live, some concerns were birthed in me for you, for each and every one of you, and even for myself. And what came out of that is that a lot of persons are living in this box because they feel like they're not worthy. And we're going to get into what all of that means. But it really resonated with me because I was there. I was there where I felt I was not worthy. So this hits home to me. Hello, Miss Agatha Capron. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This really hits home to me. And I believe that it's a message that needs to be heard, especially for women. I don't want to isolate it to women, but I mean, I love my whole platform is about connecting with women, but we isolate ourselves so many times. So, what are we talking about today? I am worthy of this. What do I mean when I say that? So, for a moment in time, I want you to travel with me. Travel with me back to your childhood. Travel with me to a time where you believe that anything could happen. As young girls, we would have watched, movies like Cinderella. We would have watched movies like Aladdin and Beauty and the Beast and all of these love movies that gave us hope that we were going to have a happy ending, right? When we were a child, an adult would come and ask you, what do you want to be when you grow up? And you would say doctor, you would say firefighter, you would say policeman. As far as you were concerned, anything was possible. There was no limitations as to what you could be. No limitations. But as we grow older, and we have different experiences, and life begins to hit us, and we realize that not everything that we want we necessarily get for different reasons. For some it may be financial constraints. For some it could be limited opportunity, limited connections. Sometimes we just don't know how to get to the point that we want to. We don't know what steps that we need to take. We don't know who we should talk to. And for many of us who were dreamers, and if you were a dreamer, let me know in the chat. What if, and if you even if you want to share, what was some of the dreams that, like the things that you thought you could do when you were a child? Let me know in the chat what you thought that you could have been, but maybe you're not that right now. Let me know below in the chat. But along the way, somehow we lost our ability to dream, right? For some of us, along the way, we may have made mistakes. It may not have only been a circumstance where, it was a bit hard, it was a bit rough for you, but some of us may have made some mistakes. Some of us may have made some decisions that changed the course of our life. I see you, Gina. I see. Some of us may have made, and that's what I'm talking about right now, Gina. Some of us made some decisions, right? But I want to know, Gina. You got to tell me. You got to private message me and tell me, right? We may have made some decisions, and let me give you some examples of this. It can be something like maybe getting pregnant at a young age, maybe getting involved with the wrong crowd, or getting pregnant out of wedlock. And sometimes the decisions that we make changes the course of our life. Of course, when you have a child, everything is about that child now. That child is the priority. So a lot of times I know as a parent, you put your own needs, you put your own desires aside to fulfill this need of this child. And of course, we know that as we grow older, money gotta make. You gotta make some money. So sometimes you can't do all the things you want to do because you have certain needs that need to be met. And so for many of us, we have brushed those dreams, those visions, those desires that we had, we brushed them under a rug, right? So I love it. So why am I talking about all of this, right? You may be like, Kia, where are you going with all of this? I see my beloved husband in the chat. Hi, sweetie, love you. I decided to talk about this because on this weekend when I was in church, right? Service was so good. And it was so amazing because my aunt, Pastor Kira Lewis, she spoke on Sunday morning and she began to talk. Her sermon for Sunday morning was God is still writing our story, right? And it came from the story of Joseph. You know, he had a dream, and we're going to get into all of that. Some of you may not know that this whole platform right here, if you would look on my Facebook page, you would see it says Dream Starter. This story of Joseph was where this was birthed. That's the reason that we are here, because of the dreamer Joseph. And it was just a reminder for me, and it took me back to the whole foundation of this platform, like why we are here. That's why I'm called the Dream Coach, because of that story. And then if that wasn't enough, my mentor, Elder Andra, she came on after, and she just took the service to a whole nother level, and she started to talk about trusting the process. Trusting the process is a term that I have used when I began this process, this platform. Trusting the process was a term that I used because if you know anything about Joseph's story, he had to go through some hills, he had to go through some valleys, and he had to trust the process. Pastor Clark say, whole lot, Gina, whole lot. I love what's going on in the chat. So Joseph had to trust the process, right? So let's talk about Joseph. I'm telling you, this is the foundation for Dream Starter, and this is how Tipsy Tuesday was birthed. So I am taking you back because, guys, we are going to another level throughout the rest of this year, through 2023 and beyond. We're going to be going up, okay? And we are going to be hearing testimonies from women and men who have gone through some stuff, and we are going to use that as fuel to get to where we want to go. Okay, so the story of Joseph. So I'm just going to be telling you a little story, right? So Joseph was a young boy. He was the second to the last of his father's children, and it's a whole long story if you don't know the story. But he was one of the youngest brothers, okay? And Joseph was a dreamer. He always had dreams, and the Bible didn't say that, you know, he always had dreams, but I could tell that he was a dreamer because of the way that he shared his dreams with his father and with his brothers. Because when he had the dream, like some of us, we had a dream and we don't even know if the dream have any meaning to it or if it's carrying any weight to it. But the fact that he had this dream and he had a revelation of the dream, he knew that this dream was significant. He knew that this dream had a meaning. And so he went and he shared it with his father and with his brothers. The dream was that one day his father and his brothers, that one day they would bow down to him and he would be superior to them, in my own words. His brothers, however, they became jealous. They're like, who this little boy is talking about we could be serving him, and he just reached. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? And this caused his brothers to hate him because of his dreams. And if anyone know anything about dreaming, usually when you have a dream, especially if it's something that is significant, you would usually go and share that dream with someone. Sometimes you may know the meaning of the dream. Sometimes you may know what the dream mean at all, but you would go to try and share that with somebody. And for me, when God began to give me this revelation, I used to have a lot of dreams. And I'm like, okay, God, I understand why you would want me to be, to have this connection with Joseph because of the, his life that he lived, because of his experiences. And funny enough, that a lot of the things in meaning, in terms of the revelation of what Joseph went through, his whole pit experience and being thrown in jail, I could relate to some of the experiences that he had. So jumping ahead of myself, Joseph had his brothers who hated him. They threw him in a pit. They sold him into slavery. And I see Patina says, but God in the chat. And he had this but God experience. Okay? So Joseph was sold into slavery. However, God intervened and allowed Potiphar to purchase him, and he worked in his house. He worked in his house, and he ended up becoming the head of Potiphar's house. And if you don't know the story, what happened was Potiphar's wife tried to throw herself on Joseph to sleep with him, and Joseph, being a man of integrity, he ran away. He wasn't having it. So she in turn turned the story around like some women do. She turned the story around and said that he tried to rape her. That was not the case. And then Joseph was thrown into prison. Now, I want to stop here because if many of us could think and reflect about our life, many of us would have had some pit experiences. Many of us would have had some experiences where, we got the bad end of the stick. And if you like me, you would think that, oh my gosh, like, my life is ruined. This is the end. Ain't happening for me. These are the type of things that I would be thinking, and that's how I would be feeling. However, I do not see in scripture anywhere where it says that Joseph complained, Joseph got angry, Joseph got discouraged. Well, there was one point where he became emotional, and that was to the end. But throughout this process that Joseph was going through, I did not see where Joseph got angry and say, but God, what about the dream? Or he gave up hope about the dream. Yes, Gina, who would have thought Joseph went through all of that he went through? It paid off, and we're going to get to that. So my thing about, before we even get to the end about what happened with Joseph, this young boy, was that he walked with a spirit of excellence, right? In spite of being lied on, in spite of being cast out by his own blood brothers threw him out. He operated with a spirit of excellence. He operated with a spirit of integrity. Potiphar didn't know Joseph. He didn't know him. But he realized that this young man, he exuded something that was causing his household to be blessed. There was something special about this young boy. Joseph could have decided to get in his feelings and be bitter and not operate with a spirit of excellence because of what happened to him. He could have a pity party. Oh God, why this had to happen to me? And like almost like I'm not even gonna do it. I'm just gonna be here, and I'm not gonna even do anything. Like that reminds me of just going to a fast food restaurant, and you pull up to a fast food restaurant, right? And you could see the people at the fast food restaurant, they really don't want to be there. And this is one of my pet peeves. They really don't want to be there, but it's almost like they only come in because they're trying to get a paycheck. But the thing about it is, and I say this to my husband often, even if you were a garbage collector, whatever it is that you do it with excellence. Because you don't know who is watching you, who has the power to bless you. You do not know. So sometimes we find ourselves in pit experiences. We find ourselves being imprisoned by our circumstances, And therefore, we operate at a level that is below what God intends for us to operate at. Wherever you are in your life at this moment, whatever it is that you would have gone through, you are not supposed to dim your light. You are not supposed to dim you're supposed to show up ready. When we look at Joseph's life, he was ready. He was ready to perform with excellence. I don't think Joseph knew how that dream that he had about his brothers bowing down to him, I don't think he knew how that was going to manifest. I don't believe it. But he knew that it was going to happen. And the same is so for each and every one of us. Go back to the dreams that you had as a child. I mean, I'm not talking about any dream about just having money. I'm not talking about any dream that it sounds good to the ears. I am talking about the dream that causes the inside of you to tingle, because you know deep down inside, this is the thing that God has called me to do. That is what I am talking about. That dream. That dream is the one that I am talking about. Joseph held on to that dream. So for you and for me, because this is very well for me, we have the dream, right? But we have a process that we have to go through. And like I said, Joseph, he didn't know that he was going to be thrown into the pit. He didn't know he was going to be thrown into prison. I mean, maybe he did, and scripture didn't record that he had a dream about that. God did, as far as we know, he just saw the end of it. He saw the mountaintop. He didn't see the valley, as far as we know. But he operated with the spirit of excellence, and he did not let go of the dream. What is the dream that you have released that God is still calling you to? You didn't know that money was going to be tight. You didn't know that the job that you would have applied for, that you were going to be denied or rejected. You didn't know that maybe the relationship that you thought would have worked out wouldn't have worked out. You didn't know that somebody would have broken your heart along the way. You didn't know, but this was a part of the process. You didn't know that you would have some sleepless nights. You didn't know that you would have lost some loved ones along the way. You did not know. The thing about it is, on this road to the dream, we're going to have some pitfalls. We're going to have some hurdles. We're going to have some valleys. My concern, my big concern is this. Some of us come off the road to the dream. Some of us have come off of the path that God has called us to because of the pits, because of the hurdles. Hi, Tasha. Welcome. Some of us have come off of the road. But what is God calling you to? He is calling you to dream again. Dream again. Get a hold of that thing again. And no matter what, some of the lessons that I see from Joseph that we could apply to our lives is this. One is, Joseph had unshakable faith. He had unshakable faith. I don't know if I could have had that faith that Joseph had if I had gone through that. I really don't know. But in spite of what happened to Joseph, in spite of being betrayed, in spite of being put in an environment that wasn't conducive, that maybe what he thought to the dream, he had unshakable faith. How do I know that he had unshakable faith? Because another part of the story says that while he was in prison, there was the butler and I think the baker, right? And both of them had a dream. Joseph interpreted their dream. One of them died, was hanged, just as Joseph interpreted, and the other was to return to the king's palace. Joseph, if he was having a pity party, he would have not said to the baker, when you go back to the palace, remember me. That says a lot to me. That says that in spite of Joseph's condition, in spite of what was going on to him, he was looking for an opportunity. It says to me that he didn't know how he was going to get out of prison, but he knew that this was not where God had him to be. So Joseph was sitting and he was ready and he was waiting for a chance and an opportunity, and any chance or opportunity that he could get, he was willing to take that chance and opportunity. So if that meant operating with the spirit of excellence as he did in Potiphar's house, if that meant standing out above and beyond while in prison, being in charge of the prisoners while he was in prison, he outshined everyone till the prison guard trusted him. Listen, Gina said it. He knew it was not the end. Oh my word. God is saying it's not the end for you. And those dreams, those aspirations that you had, it's not the end. It is not the end for you. So I don't care where you are. I don't care how things look. I don't care if people already told you, no, you can't have it. Whatever it is that you are pursuing, whatever it is that you are dreaming after, whatever it is that you had a desire for, and maybe you gave up on it, it's not the end. It is not the end. So dream again. Pick up that dream and go after it. Pursue it again. Other lessons that I learned from Joseph: he was diligent. He was responsible. I said he was a person of integrity. And I also said that he sought opportunities. Some of us have dreams and we're sitting down. Yes, sweetie, in your darkest hour, God light will shine. I love it. Some of us are sitting down, and as my husband said, your light is supposed to shine in the midst of darkness. Some of us are putting a bushel over the light that is meant to shine. We are allowing our circumstances, the hardships, everything, we are covering up our light and we are dimming our light when we are supposed to be shining. We are supposed to be shining in the midst of adversity. When we begin to take our eyes off of the dream and we begin to put our eyes on circumstances, we begin to put our eyes on people, we begin to listen with our ears. When people give us limiting thoughts and limiting beliefs, we hear it with our ears, and we are dimming when we are supposed to be shining. Shine your light, whatever that is. Shining your light, dreaming again, requires you to be uncomfortable. You're gonna have it ain't gonna feel good, because sometimes you have to step out in faith to a point where literally no resources, no opportunities, no connections, like it's almost stupid. It just don't make no sense How am I going to do this? It doesn't make any sense. How will I get to this place? I know what God has spoken in my heart, but I don't have two pennies to rub together. I don't have maybe the certifications or the degrees that I need to get to this place that God is calling me to. How do I get there? I would tell you, start with prayer. Start with prayer and ask God to show you the steps to take. Ask God to give you divine connections. Ask God to order your steps. Because guess what? Whatever that reason is that you let go of the dream, whether that's something that somebody said to you, whether, like I say, you may not have the resources, you may not have the certifications that you need. And I just feel led now to share with you a story. My husband, he is in the chat. And I remember for years that he wanted to be a police officer for years. And he applied several times to the police force and he didn't get in. And I remember, having to encourage him. Thank God for our leaders who helped him through that process. I remember us praying and I remember us fasting. And I remember the last time that he applied to get on the force. It almost seemed like this was a definite no. It wasn't going to work out. And I remember turning my plate down and I was at work and I remember I was working and I found a little corner and I started to pray and I was praying and I knew that our mentors and our leaders, they were praying, and our pastors, I knew that they were believing. And that what looked like a no turned into a yes. He had this dream for years. He wanted to be a police officer. And just when it looked like it wasn't going to work out, suddenly it turned around. And now he is a police officer. That dream, when he was at the point where he almost felt like he was ready to let go of that dream, that's the point when it manifested. So I say to you, what is the dream? What is it? That's why the dream coach is there on the screen. What is the dream? It's about dreaming again. The story of Joseph is the foundation for this platform. Sometimes we see the glitz, we see the glam, we see all of this good stuff. But a lot of us, including myself, we don't want to go through the process. We do not want to suffer. We do not want to pay the price. And I would say this to you, that if you are doubting yourself, even now with everything that I am saying to you, whatever it is that you are believing God for, if you are doubting, right? This is what I want you to know. I don't care what the bank has told you. I don't care what whoever has told you. I don't care what the doctor has told you. This is the message to you. You have been approved. You are God approval. His stamp of approval is on you. So from this moment, you don't need anybody else's approval. If it means that you have to look stupid, if it means that you have to look crazy, whatever it is, begin to take a step out in faith. Begin to move forward. Because this is the point that I want to get to. Because somebody is depending on your dream. Joseph's dream was not just about him. It was about his family. His family's life depended on him. Him suffering and going through the pit and getting thrown into prison, it was not even about him. So many of us are going through things. Many of us are going through circumstances, and we so caught up in our head. We caught up in our head about what we going through, thinking, oh me, oh my. It ain't about you. This flesh, this is gonna pass away, but there is a greater. There is a greater calling that God is calling you to. And He just waiting for you to step out of yourself. Stop, like, get over you. He is just waiting for you to get over you so your family can be free. So that you can be free of debt. God is waiting on you. Many of us are holding up the dream. We are holding it up because we so wrapped up and caught up in self. Get over yourself. Get over you. Yes, I know it hurt. It does hurt. Your family turn your back on you. You keep getting no here, there, everywhere. I understand. I know it is rough. I get it. But it is time for us to get out of ourselves, because there are generations. There are generations who are depending on you to walk, to take a step of faith, to get out of your comfort zone. You say, oh, but I shy, and that just ain't me. Oh, come on, people of God. Come on now. For some of us, it's been years now. It's been years now. Come on. What are we waiting on? What are we waiting on? You know deep down inside your heart what God called you to do. You know what He's been telling you to do, and you've been rebelling in your heart. You know. So it's time for us to step out in faith, because you have been approved by God. You don't need your husband's approval. You don't need your boyfriend approval. You don't need your mother and your father and your sister and your brother approval. God then tell you what to do. Go ahead and do it. Does it mean that you will not make some mistakes along the way? No, you will. You will make some mistakes. You will find yourself in circumstances that are undesirable. You think what Joseph went through, you think that was a desirable situation? No, it was uncomfortable. Like someone said in the chat, get out of your comfort zone. Get out of your comfort zone, because somebody is depending on your dream. Do not let the generations behind you have to suffer because you did not want to get out of your comfort zone, because you did not want to step up and do the thing that's in your heart. You don't want to get out of it. I see my girl Jody. If you don't want to be used, God will use somebody else, and that is scary. That is a scary place to be. I don't want God to have to use nobody else when He has given me something. He has given me a gift. He has given me a call. That reminds me of the parable with the talents. God gave each one of them, the master gave each one of them a talent to go and to do something with it. And the one with one talent, he didn't do anything with it. And he turned to him and said, "Oh, thou wicked and slothful servant." How many of us have been slothful concerning the things that God have called us to do? How many of us have been slothful concerning what God has called you to do? You have been approved. You have been approved. You don't need nobody else's approval. Some of you would have received prophetic words. And if you're not a believer, this platform, the invitation is always open. Jesus is just there. He's waiting with open arms to welcome you in. He wants to make life easier for you. His word says that He wished above all that you would prosper. He wants us to prosper. He doesn't want us to suffer. But the things that we go through, like I said, it's not about us. And so we have to get beyond us. Sometimes the things that we go through, like I said, it's for somebody else, and it's for God to get the glory. It's for him to get the honor out of our life. If we know anything in these past few years, we know that life is short. Even as we sit here, I'm sure many Bahamians and persons in the surrounding area and in Florida are in prayer, because we have been through a lot. The Bahamas has been through a lot. The world has been through a lot in the past couple of years. So if it's ever a time that we need to pick up our feet and do that thing, because life is short and none of us know how long we are here for. Pick up your feet and do it. And if you feel in your heart of hearts that there is something and you just need to let it out to somebody, and you may say, man, I don't have nobody, absolutely nobody that I could lean on or that I could talk to, send me a DM. Send me a DM, because sometimes we all just need a listening ears. And I realize that you have to be careful of who you connect yourself to, because that can make or break you. And if you do not have the right people around you pouring into you, it can lead you to destruction and it can kill the dream. Some persons are strong and they could deal with certain stuff on their own. And some of us, we need help. We need some help along the way. So find somebody that you could talk to. Find somebody who could steer you in the right direction. And you may say, okay, I have somebody, but I could tell you this much. Watch how you feel on the inside of you. If you have a discussion and you sit down and you share your dreams and you share your aspirations with someone, but something just don't feel right on the inside, check it. Check that out. Because we need to be surrounding ourselves with no dream killers in this season. If they ain't going up, disconnect yourself and find someone else who is going in the way that you want. And you may be asking yourself, how do I know who to connect myself to? If you just say, for example, if you have a dream that you want to be a hairdresser, find somebody in that field who is God-fearing, who is successful, who is already thriving. If you're trying to elevate yourself spiritually, find a spiritual mentor that you could connect yourself to, who your spirit can connect with, and it leaves a good feeling on the inside. Now, I'm not talking about if you have a mentor and they correct you, of course, that doesn't feel good. But I mean, like, sometimes you could feel like a negative energy that somebody doesn't have good intentions. Watch it. Watch it. Oh, my word. Listen to me. I end with saying that you are worthy. You are worthy of the dream. You are worthy of all that God has predestined for you to be. Whatever his purpose is concerning your life, I want you to walk away tonight and know that you are worthy. What are you saying, Gina? And let me know what you're meaning. I want you to know tonight that listen, girl, that's almost an hour. We've been going. You are worthy. Please share this live with somebody. Share it with somebody, because we have to empower each other. We have to let each other know that we are not alone. So for anyone watching this live who have been struggling, you have been struggling concerning your dreams, you've been struggling concerning God's purpose and will for your life, you have been God approved. His stamp of approval is on you. And we have to get to a point where we have unshakable faith like Joseph had. And the only way that you could have unshakable faith is you have to keep your eyes on the dream. You can't look left, you can't look right, because what is going to happen is you will have some struggles along the way. So that's why you have to keep looking forward. You may have people around you saying different things. You may have your environment that looks a certain way, but you have to keep your eyes on the dream, and you got to stay ready. You have to be ready at all times, and that may require you sitting down and writing the vision. Write the vision out. Have someone to look at it. But you are worthy of this. You are worthy of the dream. And like I said, that's what this is about. Knowing that you are so worthy of it. And you know why you're worthy? Because God paid a price. He paid a price for you. So when you may be looking at your imperfections, when you may be looking at all the flaws, you may be looking at the mistakes that you have made, because we have all made some mistakes along the way. And you may be holding on to that, saying, no, I can't do it because of what I've done. No, 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 no. Let it go. Let it go, because there is therefore now no condemnation to those who are in Christ. And that's why that invitation is open to you, because when you step over onto this side, or everything that you have done, you are a new creature. You are a new creature. So please take that away with you tonight. You have been God approved, and you are worthy of the dream. So dream again. Dream again. Get crazy. Walk with unshakable faith. Faith without works is dead. Take a step. Take that step, because you deserve it. You deserve it. Yes, guys, time flew by tonight. It flew by so quickly, but it was a privilege. It was a pleasure. Thank you to each and every one of you, my family in the chat. I feel the love. I thank you guys for sharing and encouraging. Please share this live with somebody. Be a blessing to someone. This is not the end. As long as God bids me, I will be here. I will be here. Let's stream again. I love y'all. I love y'all. I love y'all. And I appreciate y'all. Y'all are giving me encouragement to keep coming here, because I know that God is doing something, and I am so excited. Trust me, guys, I am up to some stuff behind the scenes, because I believe that God has given me a dream, and I've been sitting on my dream too long. I've been sitting on this too long, so I can't let y'all sit on your dreams. We got to go up together. All right. So I am Arkia Hakes here, dream coach. I will be here. Please pray for me as I pray for you. Love y'all, love y'all, love y'all, love y'all from the bottom of my heart. God bless each and every one of you, and have a safe evening. God bless and keep our Bahama land. Love you guys. Take care.